Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Um, I still can't wrap my mind around the scene. I really can't. This is the Chad and Abigail scene. Because there was parts where it just frustrated the living hell out of me. You know, in the beginning, Abigail was making a bunch of excuses of why she couldn't come back home. Oh, I have to help my mother out, and the state, and this, that, and the third. Chad, I don't like to use this word too much because I know it's a new generation thing with the whole simp thing. I don't generally like to use it, but I feel like in this scene, I really can't help myself, and he Chad simps in the worst way possible. I mean, there's never really a good way to simp, but I mean, jeez, my goodness. First, I still can't. I can't wrap my head around this. Chad is like, listen, I miss you. The kids miss you. But I send them letters and I do video calls almost every night. Let me get this straight. This woman tried to put being a good mother as far as video chats and letters. This isn't like she is on a mission somewhere, or she's in the military or secret service, or one of those really important jobs. Okay, she is literally sitting there helping her mother with her estate. You gonna sit there and tell me that you can't sit there and pop back in to say hi to her kids or anything like that? I just, the fact that she was like, oh, well, I do video call and I send letters. It's like, okay, that's all good and great, but and then when Chad was like, oh, I know you are a phenomenal mother, and I'm like, really? I'm starting to wonder, was it true what Gwen said when she was sitting there talking about Abby's kids and how they were upset with Abigail? Seriously, they were upset with Abigail because they felt that Abigail was not spending enough time with them. And I'm starting to sit there and wonder, was Gwen right? I mean, I didn't really like her back then, but like, was she right? I mean, she just comes across as a very absentee parent. And the fact that he's all like, oh, you're a phenomenal mother. I'm like, you would sit there and tell her that the way this guy is sucking up to her, it is beyond sad and embarrassing. I know it's supposed to be a woman's fantasy, and I just want to sit there and drive a hard emphasis on the word fantasy. Listen, Chad screwed up. Okay, there is no question that Chad did not screw up. Okay? And I felt like with Abigail, it's one of those things where it's like either you should just call it quits, or you need to sit there and figure out what you want. Because having this man literally got to the point where he's just like, I am nothing without you. And I'm like, as he's saying this, I'm like, is this scene over? There's more? He's doing all this begging. And the whole time, she just basically says, I don't trust you. Well, you could have saved up. You could have saved us a whole lot of time by sitting there saying you didn't trust him. Cool. Everything in between of all that crap that you were sitting there telling was like, really? I had so much issues with this scene. Gwen felt bad. Abigail felt bad for the stuff that she said to Gwen. The fact that she thought she pushed her down the stairs. That she hated the child. And she asked Chad, well, do you hate me for the way I was meant to treating, your unborn child pretty much? You know what this jackass says? I could never hate you. Listen, I don't give a damn if you don't like the mother, you can't stand her. I'm all behind that. But to basically sit there and say that your wife practically hated your unborn child's guts, and you're just like, no, I can never hate you. I am telling you right now that this is a fantasy. Real men don't actually work like that. Okay, I can tell you firsthand, real men don't actually work like that. Yeah, we come across as very tough and strong and, being masculine and stuff like that. Yeah, that's very true, but it's not like we don't have feelings. You know? It's not like we're not going to sit there and look at that and be like, have you lost your damn... You hated my unborn child. No man will ever be okay with that. And they really shouldn't be. But at the end of all the I'm not coming back and all this, begging and pleading, she's like, yeah, I'll come back. And I'm like, what? What changed your mind? I guess it was the 20, 40 minutes of him groveling, acting like... It was the 20 minutes of groveling, wasn't it? It was the... I just felt like every time he kept talking to Abby, I just looked at him and just imagining his height just going lower and lower and lower as... It almost seemed like it even seemed like it made a lot of sense. She said no. She practically gave a hard pass after her BS excuses. And then, towards the end, she's like, alright, I'll come home. What? Oh, okay. I felt like that scene could have been done much better than the way it was done. But they had to get from point A to point B, so this is the way they went about it. And, okay. Wow. EJ and Xander pretty much have it out at his hotel. EJ decides to call the court to get Xander arrested. I'm like, bro, it's not like he doesn't have your money. He just has to wait for it to get released. Okay, they're arraigning her today. So that means he can go and pick it up. What, because he didn't run down there, he didn't dash down there like a madman? You're just like, oh, well, I'm throwing you in jail. Really? It just seems so much, it seems like it just works so much against him. I know it's about the principle of it, but I'm like, you kind of need him out of jail to get the money, so what are you exactly doing? Anyway, he's about to sit there and call. Xander throws away his phone. Words are exchanged. Next thing you know, they are literally sitting there fist fighting. The fist fighting, EJ comes out on top, and Xander is, well, pretty much all bloody and a mess. I mean, EJ is too, but, So, yeah, that ended that scene, and next thing you know, he's talking to Johnny, and Johnny's like, oh, well, he worked on a movie, he's talking about working on a movie about the Sam Brady story. And you know how excited EJ is about that. Johnny, I was all behind, I was all for his movie and everything like that, even though he said he was going to do it on a phone. I'm like, I don't know. Kind of looks extremely low budget when you're doing it on the phone, but okay. So he goes to Marlena, and after him trying to sweet talk her, and she's like, alright, just spit it out. What is it that you want? Johnny's like, alright, I wanna get financing for a movie. I want to see if you can finance my movie. And so Marlena's like, alright, well, what is the movie about? He's like, oh, well, I didn't really exactly pick a theme yet. I'm like, let me get this straight. You don't even actually have a theme for what this movie's going to be about? Are you serious? You know, working at the Maras is, it's kind of looking a little bit out right now, bro. I mean, I was all about the fact that it was like, yo, listen, give him a chance, see what it's like. You don't like it, leave. But you could sit there and say you gave it a chance. You're all just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to sit there and do a movie. You don't even know what the damn movie's going to be about. You have no idea what kind of movie you're going to make. And this is the reason why E.J. Smith is saying another one of your pipe dreams. Now, E.J., you know, it can come across as a dick, but I'm like, well, was he really that wrong? There's a good chance there might be another thunder, loud thunder sound in a few seconds. Just want to give everyone warning. But yeah, I'm like, at first I was like, alright, you know, he's being kind of dick or whatever, but I'm like, is he really that wrong? Before he left, you know, he said he was going to talk to Will, because Will apparently was not there trying to get a script going about, you know, the life of Sam Brady or whatever. So Marlena was like, you know, get in contact with him and see what he can do. And at first he was talking about he was going to write the movie himself and direct the movie, and I'm like, bro, last person who actually sat there and tried to do a whole bunch of stuff like that was Ben Affleck. And because he practically tried to burn himself out, I don't get a Batman movie. So maybe that's something you should probably work out as far as a theme. And Marlena was pretty much like, you know, you should do, you know, you should sit there and work on what is called an elevator pitch. He's like, what's that? Okay, Johnny. Alright. Gwen winds up lying to Jack. You know, she has this fantasy that she tells him the truth. Jack explodes and he pretty much kicks her out the house. So Gwen goes with the Xander story of, you know, her used to being a lady of the night. So she tells that story, and, you know, pretty much how, you know, she met Snyder and stuff like that, and that's the reason why Snyder wasn't there. You know, that's what Snyder wasn't there holding over her head and everything. Tells him the whole story. And then Jack just feels guilty. He just feels even more guilty that he wasn't there to raise her and be there for her when she needed it. So now he's all upset. He's crying and stuff like that. He also feels bad about probably the way he was not there treating Xander. I'm like, okay, so now Gwen, instead of just telling him the truth, you lied to him and you made him feel worse about a child he didn't even know he had. You quote unquote dodged a bullet. Pretty much you dodged responsibilities of you owning up to what you did, and now you're sitting there hugging him and you're talking about you love him and everything like that. It's like, you know what, honestly tell you the truth, this whole little love thing is just based off a lie that you just told. And you made him feel guilty, but hey, your feelings are spared. You're fine because you don't lose your dad. I mean, it just, you know, means that he has to feel guilty, but you're okay, and that's pretty much what Wanda matters. That's what that really matters. Okay. Julie finally faces reality with Doug and takes him to go see Kayla. Kayla was there talking to Marley earlier about, you know, the appointment being canceled, but after Doug doesn't remember Julie's grandparents, she's like, yeah, there's something up. She takes him down there. And, you know, he pretty much was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little kind of sad, because, you know, he was meant to ask him, like, you know, you think I have, like, Alzheimer's or whatever, and, you know, Kayla was like, listen, there's a bunch of different factors that can have a lot to do with your memory loss, and most of them can be treated. So let's do tests first before we, you know, go to the worst possible scenario. You know? and you know, they, you know, they felt a little more better, and you know, they was like, you know, we're gonna sit there and have hope, and we're just gonna just take it one step at a time. And as much as Julia annoys me, it's not hard, but she does kind of annoy me sometimes. I still felt bad for both of them, you know, living together for so long, being together that long, practically going old together, and dealing with that is just something that I would not wish on my worst enemy, ever. So it was a little kind of sad, but you know, it was kind of nice at the same time. You know, at least she finally was like, all right, you know what? Take him to the doctor, face this thing head on. You know, because she was in denial for a hot minute, um, which I'm kind of glad because at least they can find out what's going on instead of her just continuing to be in denial. So that's good. I think that's about it. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know your... Nah, I just said that. Be safe, everyone. See you in the next video.